Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Armstrong School District Board of Directors for Monday, April 8th, 2019. Would you rise with me for a moment of reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And now the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Burdell. Ms. Bowser. Here. Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Elkin. Dr. Lobby.
Here.
Mr. Mulroy. Mr. Skate.
Here.
Mr. Schaefer.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
The Board of School Directors of Armstrong School District convened an executive session on Monday, April 8th at 7 o'clock p.m. in the Faculty Lounge of West Hills Intermediate School in Katanning for discussion of personnel and student confidentiality.
Thank you. Any reports this evening? Did we have a Lenape meeting report?
We have a meeting this Thursday. We'll be voting to send a budget to the districts. As of right now, we're looking for I think it's like 2.7% increase. The district's contribution, all four, will be about 7.5 million, which is will be divided with Armstrong taking the big hit. But other than that, we'll bring that back to you next month.
Okay, thank you. Any other reports from administration?
Tonight we have a distinguished guest, Mr. Jim Wagner, Executive Director of Aaron IE28 is here to address the board. Great, Mr. Wagner.
Yeah. First of all, thank you. I wonder if Mr. DeVito was trying to hit me up for with the distinguished guest comment. But, it's certainly a welcome change from the first time I came here about 5 years ago and you had an armed guard at the board meeting. So thank you for moving along and getting so well with the public these days. So just want to share with you a couple things on the IU. It's part of my contract to get out to the districts periodically and just meet with the board and just say hello. So one of the things that I'm trying to highlight some things that the district participates in, because you probably all know that you're the largest contributor to the Aaron budget. So we're happy to see that over the last couple of years there's some additional things that we're able to work together on. We've also recently been notified, well, the process started last fall, and the district, the IU, all the districts, we're going to be the beneficiaries of yet another gift from the Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation. They're supplying us with a STEM lending library, about $50,000 worth of equipment that's going to be loaned out to the districts for in order to try how things work out and see if it's something that you're ultimately interested in. The cost of that, for the most part, will be the teacher that borrows the equipment will have to write a document to share with teachers across the western part of the state how they use the equipment, with some ideas, lesson plans, and feedback as to how that went. So, we're pretty excited to be able to do that. We hope to be able to start providing those materials to the districts come September. Spoke with Mr. DeVivo about 4 months back. There was an opportunity for the IU to pick a district and submit a grant along with a couple of other IUs. So the University of Pennsylvania and one of our IUs out east was awarded the grant. It's called the Computational Thinking and Action Grant, and it's going to be a computer literacy for students. Ultimately, it'll be about 20 of your teachers will be participating in that at no cost to the district. 4 of them will be able to get a degree in this program. It's a one course thing at the moment from the University of Pennsylvania, and that will be starting up. They will actually, those 4 teachers will be going to school all summer long. So we're happy, that to be about a 2-year grant, so we're happy to do that. One of the things that started a couple years ago between the district and the IU, you had a vision teacher who retired. So the district contacted us. Vision and hearing are two services for students with disabilities that are extremely expensive and very hard to find staff. It was really quite interesting to see it play out over the summer. We've never had so many calls from your district. Are you sure you're going to be able to do this? Are you sure you're going to be able to do it? And we're doing with about a half a person versus the full-time person that you had employed previously. So that took up some of our person's time, which helps us, and it certainly was a big savings to you as far as something like that. Two of the programs that, as a large district, that you're able to really see some benefits from over time, the insurance trust, which is operated by the IU and is currently 10 districts, the IU and 2 CTCs. And fortunately or unfortunately, the last 5 years, the district has not had the greatest experience, so that's something is providing quite a benefit to you from. And the other is transportation, so that you're participating in a transportation consortium with us. We transport students to 77 different locations every day. Some kids, unfortunately, they're on a van for an hour and a half each way, going to specialized programming. So we appreciate that. You recently, I think, addressed the general obligation budget, the operating budget of the IU. So that's 6 years in a row that we've been able to present that budget to you with no increase in the budget. Your district's contribution fluctuates a little bit year to year, could go up or down based upon the number of students within the IU and the poverty factors from year to year. The state actually runs that formula every fall and withholds your contribution from your December payment. So we appreciate being able to go 6 years without asking for an increase, and we appreciate your support on the budget. The IU, we've talked in the past a little bit about shared services and that we do to try to create new sources of revenue. We've been able to be successful at that, and that's one of the reasons why there's no increase. But we also, our parking lot is actually the original parking lot at the IU from over 20-some years ago. We started to have some problems. We're actually built into the hillside. We have 3 different levels in that parking lot. So we went out to bid last summer, having to do some work on that. We got one bid, rejected it, and we subsequently found out that bidder never even came and looked at the project. They threw out a number so high that if they got it, they were going to be happy, and if they didn't, they didn't care. To what degree you're seeing it over here, I don't know, but the cracker plant, which is hopefully going to provide a lot of benefits to us over in Beaver County, is sucking up construction workers right and left. School districts in that area they're trying to do projects in their school districts, and they don't even get a bid on their projects. So we're actually opening up bids again tomorrow. We have indications we may have 4 or 5 bids, so we're pretty excited about that. The main thing to you as a district is we're able to pay for that in cash. We won't have to ask in the districts for anything with that. We also have a second part of that project to redo our entrance to the building. And if that goes well, we'll pay cash on that too. And for the first time when that project's done, if you think about it, we're the primary center in the 2 counties for individuals with disabilities. And a person in a wheelchair cannot get into our building. We do have a ramp, but when you get up to the top of the ramp, there's no way to get a door open. You have to pull the doors out. If you're on a ramp, you can't do that. So hopefully 6-8 months from now, we'll actually be accessible to people with disabilities. So that'll be a quick summary of things going on. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Any questions from board members? It's been a great partnership. I've been on the board for many years. When I first started, I was the liaison for our school district, so I would go over to your meetings and was really quite impressed with all the different opportunities for shared services, shared support, and really over the long haul, it really does save the district money. I know it's a big outlay, but certainly with all of your offerings, it certainly has helped. So.
And I've been there 5.5 years. I still don't know all the programs we offer. We have 50-some different programs, and what's interesting is those programs on an annual basis change year to year as to whether federal dollars, state dollars. Our people are redoing budgets in May. They might find out in May that what we've been operating under for the whole year, we thought was going to be federal money, and it's now state dollars, which has a whole different set of regulations. So I've said at other board meetings, the business office you have, headed by Mr. Kirk, the work that business managers are being asked, business offices are being asked to do. We have one program that you participate in. It's called the ELECT program for pregnant teens. And we showed this to our new congressman. We showed it to the Secretary of Education 2 months ago. The paperwork on that program 2 years ago was like that. Last year it was like this. There's federal guidance called Uniform Grant Guidance. There's never been a better acronym. It's called HUG. And it's terrible. And work requirements creating on your people is terrible. So, well, we hope to see some of you at the convention next week in United. We have over 90 some people who are going to be in attendance, and look forward to seeing some of you there.
I have a question, if I may.
Yep.
On the budget, the 3.2 million, is that about the budget we voted on? You had a big jump in interest earned. How'd you do that?
We did in the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates 6 times.
They'll probably see, you're going to see from us the same thing. We're probably tripling what we had in interest earnings from the previous year because just the rates. We're getting rates anywhere over, most people are getting rates over 2% now, depending on how long the terms are. Where prior to that, 2 years ago, you were below one before. So
you're lucky you get 0.5%.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't a lot of work on us, but it is.
Okay.
We actually have a board member that from just south of you who's always harping about interest rates and stuff. But it's and trying to juggle. We're the only. Well, not the, we're certainly the biggest entity that a couple years ago in the budget situation when the state wasn't paying any money, we had to go borrow money because all of our money is funded by state. We have no taxing authority. We have no revenue. So we try to keep 1.2 million in reserve. Well, when you're funding $25 million of money fronting them, we were borrowing in September that year. So again, it's a juggling act how far you can put that money out for when you know that you're going to have to do it. And you know, we have programs that we run, some fairly large programs that we actually front the money for an agency in the community because that agency they have no line of credit. So we actually are their line of credit. They then spend the money. After they spend it, then we can apply to the state for reimbursement. So we're a bank, and we get federal funds. Can't be charging. You can't be accumulating any. You can't get more than $500 on federal funds. You know, you can have $3 million sitting in federal funds, and you're not allowed to accumulate more than $500 interest on it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Public comments on agenda items. Any public comments? Okay. Down to minutes. So look for a motion to combine and approve the open caucus session minutes for March 7th as well as the regular meeting for March 11th. Do I have a motion to combine and approve? Mr. Scaife, second by Dr. Lobby. Any discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Lobby?
yes.
Mr. Scaife?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Bowser?
Yes.
Mr. Chauncey?
Yes.
Number voting yes, 6. Number voting no, 0. 3 absent. Motion carries.
Likewise, look for a motion to combine and approve 4 bills for payment: food service fund for March, the capital projects fund for March, the athletic fund for February, and the presentation of bills for payment for March. Do I have a motion to combine and approve? Ms. Bowser? Second. Mr. Scaife? Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Scaife?
Yes.
Mr. Shaner? Mr. Schaefer? I'm sorry, Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Bowser?
Yes.
Mr. Chauncey?
Yes.
Dr. Lobby?
Yes.
Number voting yes, 6. Number voting no, 0. 3 absent. Motion carries.
Look for a motion to combine and approve personnel 1 through personnel 15, except any of those marked for information only. Do I have a motion to combine and approve? Dr. Lobby?
Second.
Mr. Smith? Roll call.
Mr. Schaefer?
Abstain?
Abstain?
Yeah, abstain.
On all of them? You can just,
You can just say which one you're abstaining on and how you're voting on the rest.
Yeah, I don't, let's say on all. Is that,
Yeah, you can do that.
is that,
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Bowser?
Yes.
Mr. Chauncey?
yes.
Dr. Lobby?
Yes.
Mr. Skate?
Yes.
Number voting yes, 5. Number voting no, 0. 3 absent, 1 abstention. Motion carries.
Education, two items. Ed 1 is student transfer request. Ed 2 is the AHS overnight trip for participation in High School National Quiz Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia. Can I have a motion to combine and approve Ed 1 and Ed 2? Ms. Bowser, second. Dr. Lobby? I think you mentioned the quiz bowl on Thursday. Any questions from board members on Ed 1 or 2? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Bowser?
Yes.
Mr. Chauncey?
Yes.
Dr. Lobby?
Yes.
Mr. Skate?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
yes.
Number voting yes, 6. Number voting no, 0. 3 absent. Motion carries.
Okay, lots of items under business. We talked about most of these on Thursday, so I'm going to ask for a motion to combine and approve, and you can have questions or comments about each individual one if you want. Do I have a motion to combine and approve business 1 through business 11? Ms. Bowser, second. Dr. Lobby? Anything else that the administration wants to highlight on any of those items that we talked about?
No, there was no new information. The only thing we had was the agreement for the auctioneer, and you've had the agreement for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I'd just like to comment briefly on business 5. You know, we did have some discussion on some of the items on the athletic bids. We are going to review those. This is just awarding bids. This is not authorizing us. We're allowed to spend if we want. It doesn't mean we have to buy those products at that price. You know, one of our, and it wasn't the Leader Times, one of our local press talked about frivolous spending. We haven't spent a dime on these items yet, okay? And that was the headline about frivolous spending. We have not. All this is awarding bids. It's $16,000 out of $1.1 million athletic budget. Some of those items we are going to look at. I already have meetings set up with both athletic departments at both high schools, so we're going to review those things before we actually purchase them and spend the money.
Okay, thanks for the comment. Any other questions for board members?
I would also just like to say on business 5, we still have not really addressed the spending and the questionable spending, in my opinion. But if we get a committee, or not a committee, I wouldn't want any committees, if we can get an understanding with the administration, with our coaches, with our athletic coordinators, that, you know, it has to come to an end someday with all this spending. And this $16,000, that's a drop in the bucket for anything, but that's just my opinion. We got to curtail this. You start with athletics, and then we can go to other areas that we just take a stand, and then we have to stand by that.
And just in comment to that, you know, we do provide the board with a proposed budget. The board does agree and approve those budgets. Those budgets then are given to our administration in our buildings and our departments to manage their budgets. We basically look to make sure there's not overspending what their budget is. So we can go line by line and critique what items are being purchased. In some people's eyes could seem to be extraordinary or over the top, but we are providing the budgets, and for the most part, they're staying within those overall budgets. If not, they're making budget transfers. So what needs to happen, if it is the board's wishes, during budget time, we need to reduce the amount of allocations that are given to certain departments, or that way, then there's not as much money to spend. But once it's given to them, we don't scrutinize every purchase because that's not necessarily our expertise, and we've already provided them with a budget, approved those dollars to be allocated and expended, and that's the process we've had.
Well, I agree with that. My comment is the board has to take the leadership to tell everyone out there that we're going to cut things. We're going to reduce our spending because we have to. We don't have a tax base that's growing. So you're going to have to bite the bullet sometime. That's what.
And, you know, I do agree. And I think the records will show over the years that we have dived deeply into the budget and have questioned a lot over the years. Since Sam come on board, we've had annual budget meetings and we've tore the budget apart essentially and have made suggestions that the administration has followed in order to cut expenses, because I completely agree. We're not making a product to generate revenue. Our only revenue comes from the taxpayers. So our first approach needs to be to cut expenses. And I think we have. And I think if you look over the last several years and accumulate all of the savings from that, I think we've done a really good job, and I think the administration has done a good job. But I agree, our job is never done with that. It's not like, okay, that's it. Start
And I
spending
think what
again.
we've done a very good job on is, through consolidation and through scrutinizing and looking at every position when they come available, we look at that. And we make tough decisions to do more with less, which everybody does more with less. And I believe what Mr. Smith's talking about is what I call the discretionary items, which is a very small portion of our budget. The things that we purchase to benefit our students. It's not salary, it's not benefits, it's not turning lights on, it's not heating the building. It's actually the books, the materials, the athletic supplies, those type of things, which again is a small portion, but we need to take a close look at those things. And we've done so much with, and we have this conversation all the time. I've been looking for the big hitters, the $500,000, $1 million savings, and Mr. Smith's looking at the $100 ones. And the $100 ones add up. That's a lot of our discretionary type things that he looks at on a day-to-day basis. And we, a lot of times, not only do we fail to look at that, but we're looking for the big things that's we're a $101 million organization. And those big ticket items are the ones that we pay a lot of attention to. But as I know Mr. DeVivo always says, there's low-hanging fruit. We don't have a lot of low-hanging fruit to pick anymore. So that might be our next step, is to look at those.
That's a good
discretionary
sign.
items.
To not have, I think we've picked all the low-hanging fruit.
For the most part, we have.
And I think it's shown it.
So I think expenditures that we have control over, I think we're able to do admirably with cost containment and reduction. Things that we have no control over is where sometimes things spin out of control and get out of hand a little bit.
And-
Talking about PSERS, healthcare expenditures.
Some things we're going to try to point out to you in this process, a couple of different things. I know we've been very transparent with you guys in the past, the amount of information we've given you, but we're adding some new stuff. Just some stuff I don't think the board and even the general public know, just out of district placements. Even, as Mr. Wagner said, our IU transportation, not that it's killing us, but we get five or six or seven more kids that need to utilize that. It goes up. We have 5 or 6, 7 more kids that come into the district, but they have some type of special need that they're placed somewhere else. Those are costly students. Those are the ones that are very hard to determine, but we have those mandates that we have to educate them or provide some type of service to them that it's very hard to predict. I can predict what our 400-some teachers are going to make and our 60-some custodians are going to make and all those things. That's easy to predict. It's these things that you just don't know. So the years where sometimes, we add to the funds balance because we have maybe some cushion put aside, but you have a couple bad cases where it eats up that. And we've had some things this year that's happened. The mold, which was not anticipated. Some monies to cover some extra construction stuff, almost $200,000, plus the mold, $225,000. That's $425,000 was not anticipated when we made the budget. Fortunately, we're big enough that we can absorb some of that stuff. But if you were a small district with a $50 million budget and you had $400,000 extra, it could really hurt you. So, but that process is coming up, and we're more than happy to, dive deep into it and talk about it.
Plus $6 million for the tech school. Enough said.
Any other questions or comments on any of the business items? Roll call.
Ms. Bowser?
Yes.
Mr. Chauncey?
Yes.
Dr. Lobby?
Yes.
Mr. Skape?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Number voting yes, 6. Number voting no, 0. 3 absent. Motion carries.
Student Transportation Services, one item, approval of bus drivers for 2018-19. Do I have a motion to approve? Mr. Scaife? Mr. Schaefer? Seconded. Any questions? Roll call.
Dr. Lobby?
Yes.
Mr. Skape?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Bowser?
Yes.
Mr. Chauncey?
Yes.
Number voting yes, 6. Number voting no, 0. 3 absent. Motion carries.
Gen 1 is the establishment of a co-op sponsorship for wrestling with Leechburg. Do I have a motion to accept Gen 1? Ms. Bowser? Seconded by Mr. Schaefer. Any questions or comments by board? Roll call.
Mr. Skate?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Bowser?
Yes.
Mr. Chauncey?
Yes.
Dr. Lobby?
Yes.
Number voting yes, 6. Number voting no, 0. 3 absent. Motion carries.
Okay, anything under other from board members or administration?
There's a real positive letter from Secretary of Education, Pedro Rivera, regarding our school district being recognized as the best community for music education by the National Association of Music Merchants. There's 623 school districts nationwide, and there's 92 in Pennsylvania, so it's a great honor. I recognize our faculty and our students and the board for the quality programs that you put out there for our students to partake in, and our students excel.
Excellent. Make sure that the appropriate people in the
Yes,
district
we
get
will.
notice of that, I'm sure. Excellent. Anything else from board members? I have a motion to adjourn. Ms. Bowser, seconded by Mr. Schaefer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, meeting adjourned. Thank you.